Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a new episode of the FinTech Hunting Podcast. We have a very special guest for you today. She's an industry thought leader, a 3X podcast host, keynote speaker, mastermind leader, mentor, coach. The list goes on and on. She is truly a champion of going out there and producing results, and more importantly, helping others produce results. Please help me welcome to the show, Lady Jen. Lady Jen, it is welcome and it is great to have you here.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here. And it's been a long time coming. I'm so glad we were able to finally make this happen.
I am so glad that we were able to make it happen. You were gracious enough over a year ago to have me on your podcast. You have an incredible podcast. So thank you for joining us today. And let's kind of dive right in. You've been on some of the conference circuit. You've been out and about talking, you're coaching, whether it's lending executives, loan officers. What are you seeing in today's current marketplace?
Oh, are you ready for some disruption?
I'm ready.
It's the blame game. That's what I'm seeing, having been, and of course I'm no longer originating, right? I still have a private equity firm. I still do real estate investing, and I still coach loan officers, and other business owners too. But what I'm seeing that is just driving me crazy is that, in order to be a top producer, which I was, right, in the top 205 times, over $1 billion in funding, you cannot blame your success or your failure on external factors. Yeah. Doesn't matter if the rates are high or not. Doesn't matter if there's not enough inventory. Doesn't matter. You are in control of your destiny. And I've been through so many of these ups and downs, that I refuse to have allowed back then, or even my clients now, to have peaks and valleys. We want to have rolling hills, right?
That's
and
right.
So life events that happen with clients and with people are what we focus on when we're talking about the business that we're doing. And one of my clients this year, he's on track to do 80 million this year.
Fantastic.
In Toledo, Ohio, where average loan amounts are small, right? And it's because he's adapted this thought of, it's not, I don't want to blend in. I want to stand out.
So let's talk about, how does a loan officer in today's market stand out? What do they need to do? Walk me through kind of a little bit of that process.
Yeah. Well, the great Les Brown says this, and I had the luxury of being on his speaking faculty. So I traveled with him and spoke with him. And I know all of his quotes, but then I learned what they really meant. Right. But one of the things that he said is, if you're casual about your business will become a casualty. Okay.
Oh, love that.
And it's so good. And I thought, okay, wait a minute. I'm hustling. I'm calling everybody. I'm answering all the calls. I'm sending all the things. I'm going to all the networking things. I'm responding to people really quickly. I'm sitting in front of my computer and I'm writing emails. Like, I was doing all those things. There was nothing casual about my business. But what I learned is that I was skimming the surface. My dad had this saying, I'd rather wear out than rust out. Now be clear about this. I don't want you to burn out. Right? But I'd rather wear out than rust out. And when you're casual and you're lackadaisical and you're sitting back and you're waiting for everybody else to fix the things for you, you're rusting out and you're becoming casual about your business. And so I remember, when I had my point, my turning point in my practice, when I was like, oh, that's it. I'm not going to be casual anymore. So I started saying, well, how do I elevate myself? How do I become a master? And that's when I started Mortgage Lending Mastery, my podcast that's now the longest running podcast in our space.
Congratulations. That's awesome.
Almost 15 years now. It's crazy. But that's when I started. I thought, I'm going to be an elite. I'm going to be a master at what I'm doing. And that required me to look at the people I was working with. Are they casual about their business? Because if they're casual, then I'm going to be casual, because isn't there an association?
That's right. Power of association. We talk about that all the time.
Yeah. And so I thought, okay, so where in my business could I elevate everything that I'm doing, right? And so I elevated my clarity. I elevated my credibility. I started being more of an influencer and speaking and being the expert in my marketplace. And that go-to person, the person that I'm not on somebody's list. I'm the one everybody's talking about. And my communication, the way that I communicate with my clients, the way that I communicate with my community, I'm not just touching them, I'm communicating and engaging with them. And the way that I carry myself, the way that I manage and put boundaries around me so that I'm not on demand, but in demand.
Oh, that's I love that quote because I think so many times people are just trying to get busy and busy doesn't mean productive. Busy, you go to all these conferences and you ask someone, how are they doing? Busy. I'm busy. You're busy. And they almost wear that as a badge of courage,
Yeah, the
but it doesn't mean that they're
glorification.
productive.
Right, right. I call that eating soup with a fork.
So as
All
we
day
start,
long. Just do.
exactly, and those are the results they're getting too. I love your point about being casual. Let's talk about that because I think it also applies to how they approach technology and the tools that they have at their disposal. Walk
Yeah.
me through a little bit of that.
Yeah. Well, here's something really interesting. I don't know if you know someone by the name of Scott Duffy. He's a dear friend of mine, but he sold his business to, I always get Russell Brunson and the guy who has the island, Virgin Islands, the Virgin owner, Russell Branson. Branson.
Yeah, go
Somebody
ahead.
Branson, whatever his name is. Yeah.
Richard. Yes.
Richard Branson. Yeah. He
Yep.
sold his business to Richard Branson for $1 billion. This guy knows his stuff. I was just in San Diego for a conference that I was speaking at, and he was talking about AI. And he said that statistically, right now, less than 1% of the entire earth is using AI.
Wow.
1% of the entire earth is using AI. Now, you and I are using AI every day, every
Exactly.
moment, right? To give us hints and give us ideas and, tell me what I'm doing wrong. That's a really good one to use. Tell me where I have my blind spots and it will go, oh, guess where they are. But less than 1% of people are using it. So even though I feel, and again, this happened when social media came out, all loan officers were telling real estate agents, I'm going to have a social media class, and it got diminished and worn thin, and I got tired of listening to it and said, stop doing what everybody else does, right? The same thing is true with AI. I think a lot of loan officers are saying, I've had enough with AI, the whole AI thing, da 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 da. But the bottom line is no one's using it. So you're still in the very, very early stages of this where you can build this. And by the way, it only takes less than 30 days to really be an expert at this. If you give yourself, 10, 20 minutes a day. But see, that's action. That's that rusting out
That's
like,
right.
I don't know, but the thing is, the longer you wait, the harder it is going to be to catch up. So my first point is that yeah, we need to be using AI in our practices. We need to load up everything that we have, everything that we've done, any place we've ever spoken, all our emails, any articles we've written, any podcasts we've been on. Everything needs to be loaded into AI so that AI learns you. That's number one. Because now I don't talk to AI, and her name's Gigi, by the way.
Okay.
Everybody's got a name for their chat GPT, right? But when I ask Gigi, I go, hey, I'm thinking about da da da. It doesn't have, I don't have to say in Lady Jen's voice, using my, it just knows me now. So yeah, I think early adoption is going to be where success is going to be. And there's still plenty out there for everyone to get. So I hope I answered that question. It's just, I say this all the time, stop talking, take action, and get results.
It's so true. And like you said, so many people are talking about it, but they're scared to do anything with AI. And AI, like I like to say, it's going to impact every aspect of people's business. Very similar to when I
Yeah.
got in the mortgage industry and the internet. The first company that I worked for, only executives at the company had internet access.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bandwidth was, broadband was very
Yeah.
costly, and they were worried about, confidentiality and worried about privacy and worried about, are people going to screw around on the internet, and we're not going to give people. I hear a lot of those same things with AI. And to your point, take action.
There's not enough data out there that anything can be, there are some things that are starting to happen, right? To try to put some boundaries around it. But the bottom line is it's not intelligent enough yet. We think it's cool because it's faster than us thinking. But listen, AI has been around well, I shouldn't say forever. It's been around since 2000, right? Because Google, a Google search, the gospel of Google is AI. And I remember when I was first introduced to chat, probably about 6 years ago, about 4 years before everybody else, right?
Yep.
And I came home and I said, I called my son. He has an options trading company. He's in the Inc. 500, right? His company. And I call him and I go, oh my God, I heard about this thing called PTGB. I don't even know how to say it. And he's like, Mom, I've been using it for like 8 years. And I said, "Oh my gosh, yeah." So, I mean, this technology has been around. It's just now coming to the forefront, like you said, where it was coveted by the executives. It's just now coming to the forefront so that we can use it for our benefit.
One of the areas you had mentioned with AI is graphics and image creation. Talk to me a little bit about that. I know you've mentioned that, and there's some tools that you've really dove into. So give us a little feedback on those.
Yeah, I mean, I've really, I spent money learning how to use AI instead of me just learning it, right? Because why duplicate? I mean, why kind of invent the wheel? We've always said that before, especially in this industry, and nobody wants to reinvent the wheel, right? So I hired people to teach me, and then I asked Chat. I mean, this is one of the best prompts you can say is act as a teacher and teach me how to use you. And it's amazing what a chat will tell you. Right. And so I've perfected prompting and I have a whole guide on that for my clients, on how to prompt. And I think that that's one of the biggest things that we need to do is just know how to use it. So in learning that, I also learned how to create images. And I use a couple, I think what people have to understand is there's more than just Chat GPT. There's a lot of other versions. And so
Right.
what I've done is I've learned how to prompt it properly to create it. I went through, I do a 3-day workshop, and there's I think 180 slides, right, in that whole thing. And I went in and said, where could I change? I know I can't change me. I could have done that before. I've cartooned myself. I made myself into a coloring book for my grandkids, which is pretty fun. Take a picture and make it a coloring book for a vacation we did. But I could change every single one of them. But I went in and I updated all of my presentations because so many people are using, just the standard cut and paste kind of presentation things. And, if you really want to show something and, share something that really is what you have in your mind, chat is so good at that. Just so good at that. Even this eating soup with a fork, even when I mentioned that a few minutes ago, I remember it took me forever to find a fork soup picture. But with chat, I was able to get the one I wanted.
See,
And
there you go.
yeah,
And it is amazing. And I think to your point, we have to continue to lean in and embrace these tools. The tools are changing. Some of the things that I recommended 6 or 9 months ago, that's already gone, and there's new things going on. And I think the people that will win, especially in the lending industry, will be the ones that lean in and can learn to prompt. So whether you're using chat, whether you're using Perplexity or Claude or Gemini, if you know how to prompt, you know how to prompt and get
yeah,
good responses.
your Ghibli style, right? I love Ghibli style. If you want to have some fun with some pictures and stuff like that, it's called Ghibli style. Actually, you don't even need that. You can just go into chat and say, "Hey, using Ghibli style, draw a picture of this or convert this photo to that," and it's really cool. And yeah, you're right. It's leaning in, but it's not just leaning into all the graphics and the pretty stuff because, see, this is another disruptor. I'm going to say is that I think a lot of loan officers is still hiding, you know, and none of this matters. You creating really cool memes or photos or anything. If you're not going to get out in the market, if you're not going to be consistent in social media, engaging with people, if you're not going to share your expertise instead of pitching, if you're not going to do one-to-many webinars, seminars, classes, courses, business circles, master classes,
Lunch and
masterminds.
learns, you name it.
I mean, you gotta get out there. You can't one-to-one it anymore. You've got to do one-to-many and then pick from the litter who you want to work with, right? That was part of leveling up is, I'm going to work with people that complement and not complicate. But see, none of this matters if you're not going to get out there, if you're not willing to stop rusting out and get out there and start being more visible. because it's not just these, but it's also how you incorporate this into your daily practice, you know. So the
Correct.
AI can be your 24/7 partner, so you can elevate your client experience, so to create a revolving door of referrals, you know, to just do marketing that's so much better, to future proof your business and ensure you have annuity income by keeping in touch with your clients, not checking in and feeling like a salesperson that, you know, I don't like making calls because I haven't talked to them for 7 years. No, you need to. And so let AI be the one that breaks the barrier for you and gives you some verbiage that makes you feel comfortable about making those phone calls. I have all the scripts written down, as do many gurus that are coaching phone offers. We have all the scripts, but let's use you AI together. And there's often I'm using that with my clients and saying, well, let's work on something that sounds like you instead of
Right.
something that sounds like me or Tim Brahim or somebody else, you know, from coaching. Yeah.
And I love it. And that goes back to your point. You know, when you're creating your own GPT, load up all of the things that you've done, let it learn who you are. And then to your point, you don't always have to prompt it and say, give me this tone, give me that. They already know what your tone is. They know, are you funny? Are you sarcastic? Are you intense? Are you passionate? And all of those things then make it much easier for you to stand out and differentiate. Like you said, that it's so critical at the beginning of our talk.
Absolutely. Yeah,
What's
absolutely.
next? What's on the horizon? Where do you see kind of the industry going, whether it's with the tools, whether it's with rates, and how do people really make sure that they're not rusting out?
Yeah. Well, you know, I mean, statistically, we know what's happened. You know, over the last couple of years, we've lost a lot of licensed loan officers. We're down to, I think, 143,700 licensed loan officers in the country now. When I was in the top 200, there were 985,000 of us, to give you an idea. You
Right.
talk about competition. So even though there were more deals to be had out there, there was more competition. So if I just push all that down, it's a numbers game. It's the same. It's
Right.
exactly the same. There is nothing different. There are fewer people out there getting a bigger, you know, a smaller piece of a bigger pie, a same size pie. I mean, I don't know how to describe it. It's exactly the same. So, you know, right now I'm going to say, you know, and I'm having a master class, you know, I have them a couple times a month, but having a master class next week and I'll have them constantly. So we'll give you a link to sign up for one of them, but a free masterclass that talks about this exactly. It is time to stop sitting back and laying down the strategies you've been using that for years that were working before and obviously aren't working right now. It's the definition of insanity. You've
Right.
got to make a change. You have to make a change in a lot of different areas. How you serve, how you sell, how you communicate. I mean, sales is huge right now. And if you're not good at sales, this is going to be a problem. So elevate your sales skills, elevate your leadership skills with your relationships with your partners. And I'm talking partners, not just realtors, all of them.
Right.
Realtors make less than $38,000 a year. And I can't remember the new statistic on this, but a whole bunch of them have done less than one deal a year. And so why are
Exactly.
we going after them and saying, hey, I need your poor, your huddled, everybody you have, you know, and you losing my personal time with my family to help serve that person who never gave me a time of day and now all of a sudden needs me and I'm jumping through hoops. You got to be kidding me. And so, you know, don't get me wrong. I want to provide great customer service, but I want to make sure that it's to the right people, with the right people, under my terms, because now I'm in demand and not on demand. And I'm not going to be your beck and call girl or guy anymore. If you want to work with me, it's going to require you to work under my terms. And I promise you this will work because it's proven. I proved it. I funded over $1 billion doing this. I'm not mean. I'm not nasty. I'm just in charge and have the reins for my life.
I love it. If people want to find out more about your master classes, if they want to get in contact with you, what's the best way they can get a hold of you?
Yeah, well, the best way to get a hold of me is to just find me on social media. I'm at Lady Jen Du Plessis. Online is jenduplessis.com. And the masterclass I'll give you the link for, and you can get information about the link to register for the masterclass. And like I said, it's a 4-hour masterclass. It's free. There's a VIP option if you want some special attention from me personally. But the masterclass is going to be a life changer. I want to make a shift from that I shouldn't say hiding, but just not standing out to
Sitting on the sideline.
yeah, watching instead of playing the game, and that's really what it's all about. So, if you're just sick and tired of being sick and tired and working long hours, how's that working for you? Then
Lady Jen,
masterclass. Yeah.
thank you so much for being a guest on this episode of the FinTech Hunting Podcast.
My pleasure. Thank you.